Let's talk about one of the most chaotic parts of our work lives, meetings. All those endless meetings. We're going to look at how we can turn that chaos into clear, actionable intelligence, specifically with an AI tool that's been designed to get the unique, multilingual rhythm of how business gets done in India.
So, does this sound familiar to you? You're jumping from one call to the next, ideas are flying all over the place, decisions are supposedly being made, but then at the end of the day, it's all just a big blur. Who agreed to do what again? What was that amazing insight from the team? It's a classic case of just too much information.
And look, it's not just you feeling this way. It's a real productivity crisis. We're spending more and more time talking, but all that talk just isn't turning into action. The sheer volume of information is it's overwhelming. And our old ways of trying to keep up, they just don't work anymore. I mean, think about it. The second you start furiously typing or scribbling notes, your brain is split. You're either focused on capturing what was just said, or you're trying to listen to what's happening right now. It's practically impossible to do both things well at the same time. You end up missing the little details, the flow of the conversation, and you can't really be a part of it.
And because your focus is split like that, you know what happens, right? Key details just poof, they vanish. That critical stat, a specific deadline, that one important piece of feedback from a customer, it all gets lost in the noise. And once that call ends, those details are often gone forever. That's how misunderstandings happen and big opportunities get missed.
Okay, so now let's add another layer of difficulty, one that's super common in the Indian business world. What happens when the conversation jumps from English to Hindi, then maybe to Tamil or any other language? Well, trying to take notes manually becomes a complete nightmare. This is where the problem goes from just being frustrating to being a huge roadblock for real collaboration.
So how in the world do you solve a problem that's so specific, so complex? Well, you build a solution that actually understands the environment. You build a tool that's designed not just for meetings in general, but for Indian meetings.
And here it is. This is MeetMinutes. Its whole purpose is pretty simple but really powerful. It's an AI note-taker that grabs every single word, no matter what language is being spoken, and then helps you turn all of that talk into things you can actually act on. It's truly built from the ground up for the way we communicate in India.
And get this, when we talk about its language capability, we're not just talking about 2 or 3 languages. MeetMinutes supports over 22 Indian languages and dialects, and it can handle them when they're mixed into the same conversation. That is a total game changer for multilingual teams.
And its focus on the Indian market is about more than just language. This is really important. It's the first AI note-taker that is fully compliant with India's Digital Personal Data Protection Act, the DPDP. So what does that mean for you? It means your data is handled properly, with consent, it's secure, and is hosted on servers right here in India. For data privacy, that is a huge deal.
Okay, so it's powerful, it's secure, but is it a pain to use? Let's break down how it actually works, because the beauty of it is just how simple it is. This isn't about adding another complicated piece of software to your life. It's about making a tedious job disappear.
The whole process is incredibly straightforward. First, you just sync your Google or Microsoft Calendar. The tool then automatically joins your meetings to record and transcribe them. Just a few moments after the call ends, boom, you get an AI-generated summary with all the key insights. And the best part? You can export all the action items right into your other tools. The whole thing is just effortless.
So what do you actually get out of this for every meeting? You get a full transcript that you can search through. You get a short, sweet summary you can send to people who weren't there. And you get a crystal clear list of who needs to do what and by when. No more manual follow-ups or those awkward, "Oh, I thought you were doing that" moments.
You know, a great tool has to fit into how you already work. It can't force you to change everything. And especially when you're talking about sensitive business conversations, it has to be rock-solid secure. For professional teams, that's completely non-negotiable.
And this thing fits in perfectly. It doesn't matter if your company uses Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, WebEx, you name it. MeetMinutes integrates with all the major platforms that you're probably already using every single day.
And on the security side of things, they've got all the heavy-hitting certifications. It's not just DPDP-compliant for India, but it also meets those big global standards like GDPR and SOC 2 Type 2. That's a clear signal that your confidential meeting data is being protected with top-notch encryption and security practices.
So the tech is impressive, for sure. But what about the actual impact? Does this really make a difference in the real world? Let's look at the numbers and, even better, hear from the people who are actually using it.
Just try to wrap your head around this number for a second. Users all over the world have saved over 8 million hours. To put that in perspective, that's like having more than 3,800 years of full-time work just given back. All that time can now be used for actual, meaningful projects instead of just getting lost in busy work.
And we're not talking about some tiny niche app here. It's being used by over 500,000 people in more than 80 countries. That is a massive user base that trusts this platform to handle their meetings day in and day out.
After seeing the problem, the solution that's tailor-made for it, and the proof from real people, it makes you think. What if all that time and energy you spend just trying to remember and write down what was said could be instantly transformed into focused, productive action? What could that unlock for you and your team?